The next thing you know, I start sweating like crazy. My body starts shaking. We're admitting you. Hey yo, what's rolling YouTube gang? It's your boy CJ. And yup, you read the title right. I almost overdosed on water.
What?
But yo, I don't want you to judge me. I feel like y'all come to my channel and y'all be looking at me like, yo, this guy is stupid. And to that, you know what I say? You're right. I might be a little slow. I might not be the sharpest spoon in the drawer. And my mother might have dropped me on my head maybe once or twice. But I think I turned out pretty okay.
Nope.
Maybe? Man, let's just get it. First off, you have to understand the things that led to me almost overdosing on water. And that's basically because I suffer from bad UTIs. Man, when I say they bad, I mean like every other month, I'm catching a UTI. And basically, the reason why I catch UTIs so often is because my bladder tends to not all the way empty when I urinate. Yeah, it's the struggle of being paralyzed. You know, it's something I gotta live with. But basically, since my bladder doesn't empty all the way, urine tends to stay within my bladder, which causes bacteria to build up and then causes me to have a UTI. And sometimes those UTIs are bad. When I say bad, I mean like I'll be pissing blood sometimes.
Damn!
And that's not fun. But along with that, I'll catch these bad body aches. So since I was catching these UTIs from my bladder not emptying all the way, I sat there and thought to myself, how can I prevent my bladder from holding on to the urine so long? And that's when it hit me. If I'm constantly urinating, then the urine won't have time to sit in my bladder and the bacteria won't have time to build up. So how can I keep the urine from staying in my bladder? I gotta keep urinating. So if I drink a lot of water and I keep urinating, then the urine won't have time to build up and cause me to have a UTI.
Look at this. Somebody come look at this.
You're so dumb.
Man, at the time, that seemed like a great idea. But it wasn't. No, not one bit. So since my idea was to keep urinating, I thought if I drink water every hour on the hour, I'll just keep urinating nonstop. Problem solved. Boom, mic drop. I did it. I figured it out. No more UTIs coming my way. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Who mans is this? Get him the out of here.
Well, it worked for the first few days. I mean, I had about 3 good solid days of this working. Drinking my water every hour on the hour, except for when I went to bed. You know, during that time, I just kind of drunk a full 16-ounce bottle of water.
I want to punch you in the face so bad right now.
So I would urinate throughout the night. Yeah, that wasn't smart either. By like the 4th day, I came back from Bae's house. I get into bed. I get stretched. I continue drinking the water. The next thing you know, it gets time for me to get ready to go to sleep. So my mother's setting me up, you know, doing the night routine. All I know is I start sweating like crazy. My body starts shaking. I feel like I gotta urinate nonstop. My body starts aching. I'm sitting there like, yo, what's going on with me? My legs are spazzing. They're jumping up. I'm like, Ma, something is seriously wrong with me. So my mother looks at me and asks me, you wanna go to the hospital? And at this point in my life, I was tired of hospitals. But the spasms wouldn't stop. I kept sweating. So I said, you know what? Yeah, let's go to the hospital. So my mother grabs me. She throws me in the wheelchair. Then she throws me in the car. And then we rush all the way to the hospital, right? Once I get to the hospital, the nurses grab me out the car, put me on the stretcher, takes me directly into the emergency room where I met the coolest nurse of them all. Homie basically looked at me and said, yo, you got the same name as my brother, and I could clearly tell something is wrong with you because your pulse and your blood pressure is really low. So I'm gonna put you on the other side of the emergency room. We're in a private room where you'll get seen way faster. So now I'm in a private room and the doctor comes in. He looks at my chart, sees that my pulse and everything is really low. He asks me how I feel. I tell him basically I'm spazzing, I don't feel good, something has to be off. So he orders me an EKG. On top of that, he orders some blood work, an x-ray. You know, he orders the works. The doctor leaves, the nurse comes in, she gives me the EKG. You know, they do everything they have to do. Doctor comes back, looks me in my face, and says,
"We think you had a heart attack."
"Whoa, wait, no, time out. I don't know. Hold on, where am I? No, you're wrong. I'm okay. I'm fine. Look, I can dance. I didn't have a heart attack. Please, say no. God, no. Yeah, he thought I had a heart attack, y'all. So now he hooks me up to this machine to keep track of my heart. So he leaves the room. I'm laying there. My mother's next to me. And I'm sitting there like, yo, I'm tired. Because by now, it's like 12 in the morning. We left at like 10. It took this long to get these tests done. So I tried to fall asleep, and I couldn't because I kept sweating. I kept spazzing. Something was off. So that's when I looked at my mother and was like, "Ma, I think I need to get catheterized because the urine is not coming out. And every time I urinate, it's only a little bit." So my mom went out there and asked to speak to the doctor. Doctor came. I said, "Yo, do you think I can get catheterized?" He said, "Yeah, we could try that." After that, he calls the nurse in. Nurse looks at me, pulls out this long tube to get ready to catheterize me. Now, if you don't know what that is, they basically stick this tube up your penis into your bladder.
No. Hell no.
And from what I heard, it hurts like hell. But I can't feel anything. But that didn't stop the nurse from saying, "This is going to hurt." I just basically looked at her and was like, "Go right ahead, miss. I can't feel a thing." So she sticked the catheter all the way up in, and next thing you know, a shit ton of urine starts to come out. It rushed out like a waterfall. The nurse looked at me and was like, "I've never seen this much urine come out of someone's bladder." I filled up a complete night bag of urine. She looked at me and was like, "How do you feel now?" I'm like, "I feel a whole lot better. Thank you." So I asked her, can she go get the doctor so I could speak to him? Because basically, now I'm sitting here saying, "Yo, figured out what the problem is. I just need to take a piss." Doctor comes in, look at him. I say, "Yo, doc, I'm all better. Sign those papers. I'm out of here." This man looks at me and was like,
"We're admitting you."
"What you talking about, Willis? What you mean you admitted me? I'm perfectly fine. I feel better." He's like, "No, since we think you had a heart attack and your blood pressure and everything is all off, we're going to admit you to keep track of you. And plus, since you urinated that much urine, there's a chance the urine might have backed up into your kidneys." Now, I didn't even know urine could go backwards, but it can. It can actually go all the way back into your kidneys if you don't urinate enough. I end up laying in the emergency room for another hour until they could find me a room. Then they take me all the way upstairs. They hook me up to another heart machine. My mother looks at me and says, "Well, I'm out." I'm like, "What? You leave me, mama? You just gonna leave me like that?" And she was like, "Shut up." And she jumped at me, right? It scared me. So I went to sleep by myself. But before I went to sleep, Bae and my father came up to visit me. You know, they stayed with me for a little while, and then they went home. Then I was back by myself. Lonely. By myself. Aww. I'm so sick of being lonely.
Okay.
Don't judge me. So I just basically fell asleep. But that night was horrible. Because all night, the nurses kept coming into my room because they thought I was about to kick the bucket. Yeah. Because basically what happens is, when I go to sleep, my heart rate drops really, really low. And the doctors and nurses were freaking out. But I already knew that happens from when I first got injured. Because the first hospital told me since I used to work out so much, my heart is really strong. And when I fall asleep, my heart doesn't need to pump as hard to keep me alive. After having a horrible night worth of sleep from getting woken up over and over, the doctors come in. Doctor looked at me, says, "It looks like your heart is okay." And I'm like, "Yeah." That's when he says, "But you have to wait. We want you to see the urologist." I'm like, "Great. What time does the urologist come?" 2 o'clock. Bruh, it's 11. Yeah, he doesn't come in until 2. So you're going to have to wait. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So fast forward, 2 o'clock comes, the urologist comes in. He looks at me and says, I think the main reason why you was feeling like that is because your urine backed up into your kidneys. So we're going to have to give you a sonogram. I'm like, all right, cool, doc. Send me down. Let's get this over with. So they send me down to get a sonogram, right? Man, this had to be the longest wait I've ever had to do. Because basically, they were backed up. Now I'm in this little space, because you know they don't give you a lot of space with the curtain around you. The person is basically right next to you where I can reach out and hold hands. Now after I get the sonogram done, I go back up to my room. The urologist comes and says, looks like your bladder's okay. Look like there's no urine backed up into your kidneys, but we're going to take the catheter out and we want to see if you can urinate. I'm like, doc, you know how long that's going to take? I can't piss on my own. He's like, well, you need to drink some water so you could try at least, because we can't let you out the hospital until you urinate. I'm like, all right, Ma, get the water. So she goes and get my water and I start guzzling water, but not too much because I don't want that problem to happen again. So after I drink all this water, a nurse comes in and she's about to take the catheter out of me. So she looks at me and says, take a deep breath because this is going to hurt. I look at her and said, Miss, I'm paralyzed. I'm not going to feel a thing. About an hour passed. I finally urinate. Then the urologist comes back and he's like, all right, you're clear to go. You just got to speak to the doctor real quick.
Bruh.
I'm like, all right, send the doc in, man. By this time, it's like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm ready to go home. I am tired. Doctor comes in. He looks at me and says, you're all clear to go home, but you have to see a cardiologist in outpatient just to make sure your heart is good. So I'm like, all right, doc, sign the paper. I'm ready to go. So I get discharged out the hospital and I go home. Man, all this trouble because the brother drank too much water.
Stupid.
I can't make it up. Can't make it up. But you guys notice how both of those nurses, even though they read my chart, still brought up the fact that I might feel the catheter. But there are a lot of things that I've encountered that people say and do to me that makes no sense when they could clearly see I can't feel a move. You know what? Come back next week and I'll tell you all the dumb things that people have said or done to me ever since I became paralyzed. And trust me, some of these things are just straight up stupid. Feel sorry for yourself tomorrow, because today you got shit to do. You don't got time to waste thinking about the past and the things that you failed at. Focus on today. Focus on right now, because all you have is this moment. So either make the best of it or stand there and dwell on some old shit.